Ticketmaster, the spawn of Satan that even Satan didn't want. You may have heard this week that Ticketmaster quietly changed their refund policy. The refund policy, if you were unaware before, used to say, quote, "Refunds are available if your event is postponed, rescheduled, or canceled." But this week, Ticketmaster quietly changed that to say that only canceled events can warrant a refund. Now, as many people have pointed out, the shock isn't really coming from the fact that Ticketmaster did something like this. Everyone kind of expected them to do something like this at some point in the time of the world. But what's more shocking about this is that Ticketmaster is doing this in the middle of a global pandemic where shows left and right are getting postponed or canceled. And postponement is the main course that many of these musicians go for their shows. And Ticketmaster is basically telling us that if it's postponed, we can't get refunds. That obviously caused a huge uproar of many angry people demanding a refund for their shows, which makes sense. People don't really need tickets for a show that's not happening. What they do need is the money from those tickets so that they can pay the bills that they still have to pay while stuck at home in quarantine. Now, to be fair to Ticketmaster, the Live Nation CEO and Steve Jobs cosplay wannabe Joe Berchtold went on TV to say, quote, "Ticketmaster doesn't sell these tickets and sit on a mountain of cash. Ticketmaster sells tickets and gives the cash over to the venues where the events are held." Joe went on to explain that Ticketmaster has to work with the event venues in order to get refunds, which are closed due to the outbreak, adding, "It's a pretty big process to go through and the volume is so huge." To which I say, great, but that doesn't explain anything. Seriously, if we were to take Jeff Goldblum at his word, basically what he's saying is, we don't have your money, the venues do. And they can't really process the refunds because there's no one there because they're closed. Which I'm inclined to somewhat believe, except apparently there is someone there and they're able to process canceled refunds. Which, if more postponed shows get canceled, which there is still the possibility of happening, then those refunds should go through with no problems whatsoever. Basically, if we're to take Joe at his word, there's only one person at every single venue on planet Earth that can refund cancellations. Postponements and reschedulings? Nah, that's Fred and Jim Slim's department. They only know how to do that. I don't know how to do that. It's the exact same process, but I might hit the wrong button. That makes total sense. Makes absolutely all the sense. Now, obviously, it's not that complicated. Refunds are refunds, regardless of the context in which they occur, which means we basically have two possible situations. Either A, Chris Brown is owning every single venue on planet Earth, which explains why his band can still get traction, but also B, Ticketmaster is lying to us. Now, given the fact that Chris Brown has barely grasped the concept of reality, and Ticketmaster has a long history of lobbying Congress and greedy tendencies that can border on the lines of illegal, I think it's safe to say that your pervy English teacher from high school is lying to you.